if you got, I think we just got it figured out. So if you want the notes and all of that, YouTube is about to go live, but I'm gonna stay here with our Facebook family. I ain't gonna mess with y'all again. Those of you who shared, who showed up. But if you want to the interactive experience, YouTube is available. IG is not available today, but YouTube is available. Um, if you want to get that. Chris, can y'all still dig in the IG or no? I ain't gonna worry about it. So YouTube is available and Facebook. So let's go. Um, Father, give us a space, give us the grace, give us what we need to hear and to see and to experience what we need from you today. And we bless you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. So this is day 3, guys. This is day 3. We're in our conversation this month. We're talking about making great decisions. We're talking about making great decisions, making great decisions. The goal of this time together is for you to always be in a place where you will be able to make sound decisions, have a process of deciding. My big thing, especially for the last couple days, is to get us to the place where we can recognize when we are in indecision, because a lot of us are in indecision and we think we're still in the process of making a good decision. But I think at some point you got to stop thinking and start doing, and get out of the rat race of going over the data, over the scenarios, over the opportunities, over this and that, over why, over how, over all of this, and just get to action. This is where we want to get to. And so I chose a scripture, or of 2 scriptures, but I chose my main scripture from Deuteronomy 30 and 15 that lets us know God is saying, my response to you, this is all the scripture's about. My response to you is predicated on your response to me, or your response, period. That when you decide, life will be unveiled to you based on your decision. Ooh, that was good. When you decide, life will be unveiled, rolled out, presented, that there are some things that come with good decisions pre-established, and there are some things that come with wrong decisions, and nothing comes with no decision. So Deuteronomy 30 and 15 says, now listen, today I give you a choice between life and death, between prosperity and disaster. God said, I'm giving you the choice to do it. So a lot of times we are asking God where he is, asking God what he's doing, all of this. But could it be it was just the product of a choice? He says, I'm gonna give you a choice between life and death, between prosperity and disaster. For I command you this day to love the Lord your God with all your God, and to keep his commandments, decrees, and regulations by walking in his ways. If you do this, you will live and multiply. And the Lord your God will bless you and the land you are about to enter and occupy. He says, I'm going to tell you, if you do it my way, I've already predetermined life will be good for you. Life will be great for you. Life will be wonderful. He says, but if your heart turns away and you refuse to listen, and if you are drawn away to serve and worship other gods, then I warn you now that you will certainly be destroyed. Wow. You will not live long, a good life in the land you are crossing the Jordan to occupy. And today, I have given you the choice between life and death, between blessing and cursing. Now I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. I keep reading this because I want you to see how heavy the choices we make play in the affairs of our life. I want you to see that. Let me get queued up here. So I want to check on my YouTube family, see how we looking. Right? Now I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you're making. Oh, that you would choose life so that you and your descendants might live. You can make this choice by loving your Lord, the Lord your God, obeying him, committing yourself firmly to him. This is the key to your life. And if you love and obey the Lord, you will live long in the land the Lord swore to give your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Romans 12:2 for some of you who just need some New Testament. Don't copy the behaviors and the customs of this world. Don't choose like they choose. But let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. When God changes the way you think, he changes the way you choose. Ooh, that's good. When God changes the way you think, he changes the way you choose. He changes how you decide. He gives you the courage to decide. Right? So I need you to understand. I need you to understand what God is doing here. Then you will learn and know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to do. That's where I am with this. So we've been talking about, I introduced what I believe yesterday is the biggest enemy to a decision. What I believe the biggest enemy to a decision is called indecision. And I want to deal with that. And yesterday we introduced indecision as being the biggest enemy of decision. But today I want to deal with the impacts of indecision. I want you to understand what it is, and I want you to understand the ramifications of getting stuck in indecision and how it affects different areas of your life. And hopefully today I can paint that picture for you as it relates to why you need to learn the tool of being able to decide. It is a tool. It is something that can be learned. It's something that can be coached. It's something that can be grown. Remember, we mentioned that indecision is the only action that is defined as a decision without being an actual decision. Y'all hear me? Indecision is the only action because doing nothing is an action, even though it's not acting. Indecision is the only action that is defined as a decision. I made a decision not to do nothing, which my action then produces nothing because it is not an actual decision, even though you made one. Whew. In other words, when I'm doing nothing or when I do nothing, I have decided, or we have decided without anything happening from our decision. I've decided, but nothing happens from it. So usually the problem, listen to me, here's what I want you to understand today. Usually the problem, I hear that, Lena. Lena says, I need the courage to decide. Wow, I like that. You two families back in the house. I like that. Usually, Lena, listen to this. The problem is not a lack of hard work. The problem is not a lack of strategy. The problem is not a lack of great ideas. There's a lot of people who have great work ethics, have strategy and great ideas in your mind, but there is no productivity because there's a lack of decision to do what you have the ability to do. Okay, let me say it this way. I might hit 10 people on Facebook and probably 5 of you on YouTube gonna feel this when I say this. How many times have we been very productive when we've been given instructions on somebody else's decision? Like that, Kevy. Listen to me. It's amazing how if you tell me what you want to do and if you make the decision for me, Many of us are good workers when it's been assigned for us, when things, it's good when somebody else say, okay, this is what we're going to do today. Oh, you got your marching orders and you can boom, 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 work it out. But when it comes to deciding what to do for yourself, some of us get drawn up because although we're used to working hard, we're not used to deciding. And I don't want you to get stuck in a place where somebody has to think for you before your goodness can come out. I don't want you to be the one that can knock it out the box when somebody puts it on the table for you. But you've got to learn how to process what you see, what you think, what you hear, and have the confidence that you can, number one, do it. Number two, that it is valuable and it is relevant. And number three, that you're going to have the resources to carry out once you start it. You got to have that confidence to say that, or you'll be somebody who's depending on somebody else's decision for you to get started. Many of our problems lie in lacking the nerve to make a decision, any decision, not in the talent to do it. Not in it. Okay, have you ever heard this or if it's ever been you? And we're just having a conversation, family. I'm not trying to come at nobody personally. We're just having a conversation. Have you ever done this? Have you ever sat quiet and when then somebody else came with an idea and say, here's what we're gonna do? And then you have the courage to say, oh, I was thinking that. I would probably want to do the same thing. It's okay once it's somebody else's trigger. And I want you to get the courage about what God has put in you, that you don't have to see somebody else living in, benefiting from, flourishing in the things that he already put in your mind that you never got started in. I want you to hear this, and I want you to hear the heart of me, the heart of my heart. When I say this, not making a choice one way or another leaves you stuck in a place. And we blaming the devil sometimes for being stuck in a place. Because what we don't understand, even if it ain't the big decision, even if you don't have the tools to make, what happens is we own more than momentum. So I got to say it here on this platform. Momentum is a real thing. And even if one decision is the small decision that's going to lead to the bigger decision, sometimes a decision leads to another decision that's going to lead you to go deeper into a decision. And so before you know it, you'll get to where you need to go, but nothing happens until you make the first one. Because things don't just happen in life. Things don't just happen in life. Everything we see in life is a product of a choice. Be it a wise choice, a poor choice, or an inability to choose. That leaves a product too. The inability to choose anything. The world exists. Let's go back from the beginning. The world exists because God chose to create it. Buildings, cars, the homes you're in, the clothes you're wearing only exist because somebody chose to create it. So today I want to deal with the impact of indecisiveness. How will this, if we don't get better at this, how will this show up in different areas of our life? All right? Impacts of indecisiveness, and I want to hit it first from the personal level. What are the impacts of indecisiveness on the personal level? Indecisiveness, listen to me. I know it's thought often, or though often is dismissed as a harmless quirk. Just take me a little time, just bear with me, It can significantly influence our personal lives, our personal well-being. I just want to ask you a few things. Maybe you, may not be you. Does your heart pound when you're unable to make a decision? Palms get sweaty because your brain seems like it's on overload. It's like the lights is on you, everybody looking at you to do something. This physiological response is an indication, or is indicators that indecisiveness can be a major stressor at the personal level. Key impacts of indecisiveness at a personal level include these. Listen to me. Heightened anxiety. With the mind continually juggling possibilities and outcomes and grappling with the fear of making the wrong choice, anxiety levels can surge. Not only does it bring heightened anxiety, here's another impact: poor sleep and poor mood. Y'all listening to me? Poor mood. The heightened anxiety, here's what happens with that. When my anxiety's high and when my nerves are kind of, on level 10 with the stress, what happens is this: the heightened anxiety and the stress can bleed into other areas of our life. Have y'all ever experienced that? Huh? You short with people not because they did something, because you're still weighing the weight of a decision. It can disrupt your sleep and your patterns. Your sleep patterns are off. You waking up tired because you laid down but you didn't get no sleep, or you got sleep but you didn't get rest. Waking up sweating, bed wet from sweating and turning, and you went to bed thinking about it. You woke up thinking about it, so you're walking around with that weight all day. So it affects your mood with people. The next thing it can do, it can bring or lower our self-esteem. You want to know why? Because regular encounters with guilt or regret over perceived poor choices or our inability to choose can chip away at our self-esteem over time. It brings on that harsh self-talk. I'm so dumb. Why can't I just choose? Why come I always got to choose wrong? I can't never get this right. You're so stupid, Bradley. And it lowers your self-esteem. It chips away at it little by little. And these things this is my fourth impact in here for a personal level. That stuff leads to potential health issues. Prolonged periods of stress and anxiety could potentially pave the way for more serious health problems in long term. It's weighing on you. You know you got to do something, but you can't pull the trigger at it. And so it's affecting everything about you personally. Your smile is gone. Your mood is gone. You stressed, you heavy. You're not getting no rest. That means you're not at your best self the next day. Instead of just saying, hey, I got to make a decision. I'm going to decide this and we'll deal with whatever we need to deal with and move from here. But I got to do something. All right. So personal level, it has impacts. Let's go to the professional level. Sometimes this indecisiveness is hurting your professional level, your careers, your ministry, your business. Kev, is this mic on? The ripple effects of indecisiveness extends far beyond personal realms, and it seeps into our professional lives. Because in the professional life, or in business, or in the marketplace, or in ministry, it's this fast-paced world that often values swift, decisive action. Things are changing. Things are evolving. things, new technology, new systems, new opportunities, new ways of doing things, just this world of evolution, and you just getting comfortable in making one choice, and what you just finally got comfortable in choosing is now outdated. Huh. And you'll find yourself always behind because it's taking you too long to finally wrap your mind around some things to do it and go and try it. And you've been wrestling with something for a year and you finally do it. Well, the world or the industry you in has finally moved to something different. And so what you finally wrapped yourself around is antiquated. This fast-paced world that often values swift and decisive decision. If you got chronic indecisiveness, it can be a significant setback. And some of the ways that it hits your professional life is this: missed opportunities. Some of y'all need to type this. This is not the season for missed opportunities. I'm not going to miss an opportunity this season because I don't have the courage to decide. This is what I want. This is what I'm going after. This is what I'm going to start. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do what I got to do to make it happen. Missed opportunities. Have you ever hesitated to take up a challenging project? They asked you to do it and you was hesitant. I don't know. That's going to be too much. And it was a promotion. It was a blessing. It was an honor. It was a higher rank. And because you could not process all that it was going to take, and if you were even worthy, if you were credible, if you were even prepared for it, you're still trying to figure out if you qualified and how people gonna see you, and your friends at work gonna look at you crazy, and this how much overtime does this require, and how long do I got to be here for this, and I don't know if I can do this. Kids got to be here, and I got to go here, and I like to do this, and I like my free time. And you going through all this other stuff and not able to decide. And they move on to somebody else, and you watch somebody else flourish and thrive in a lane that should have been and was yours, but because you hesitated with the challenging project, as if they didn't know who you were when they came to you. And now you angry and you frustrated. You don't know who to be mad at, but somebody you just want to be mad because you just feel like you missed it here. I'm telling you, it brings missed opportunities. Okay. I'm gonna get in trouble a little bit here. But how many of you have been late somewhere, late for an appointment, late for a meeting, late for an assignment? Not because the car didn't work, not because you lost your keys, not because you overslept. You simply couldn't decide what to put on. Let me sip. You didn't change 5-6 times and then ended up with the outfit you had on first. And now you don't show up well, right? Because of some indecision that should not have been that big of an issue. Have you ever saw something or saw someone doing something that your spirit told you, or what was in your spirit to do long time ago? To see somebody thriving in something that God gave you that, man, and they killing it, but you never decided to start it. These are moments where indecisiveness has had a tangible cost. Missed opportunities. Opportunity came and you didn't volunteer. I'll take it. I'll do it. You may not have all the questions answered, but I'll step up. And you missed a door that was going to open to new levels, new communities, new connections, new opportunities, new heights, new money. Right? So not only is it missed opportunities, but those bleed into my second one, the impacts from a professional level, hindered growth. Because constant indecision, listen to me, and I need some of you, I don't need you to be sensitive right now. I need you to hear me. Let me coach you. Because coaches sometimes got to say the hard things and the hard truth. You know, I remember when I was playing sports, a good coach had to create an identity of a team. And the only way you created an identity of a team is you was honest with the player and told that player who he was. Not who the player thought he was, or not what the player wanted to do or wanted to be. But a good coach will look a player in the eye and say, no, son, this is who you are right now. Now, if you want to be something else, you can continue to work in the offseason. But right now, this is how you help this team. Because this is what you do well. You think you're a shooter, but you're missing every shot you put up. You ain't a shooter yet. I just need you to rebound, play defense. You think you can dribble. I know you want to be a point guard, but you're not a point guard. You're a big man. Quit trying to bring the ball up the court. Give it to a guard. Run to your spot. Get open. Let somebody get it to you. That's who you are. Sometimes it's hard to hear. Sometimes that's what comes with being a good coach. And so I want to say that right now. Listen to me. This is how hinder growth. This is how indecisiveness sometimes can hinder our growth. Because constant indecision, it doesn't matter what's in your heart. It doesn't matter what you perceive you are and who you want to be and what you wanted to do and what your mind said and what you had a heart for and all this other stuff. Constant indecision might be perceived as a lack of confidence or a lack of leadership skills. It might be perceived that they don't have what it takes to lead people. They don't have what it takes to be over something. They don't have what it takes. They don't have the confidence to put them out front. Even though you have the goods for it. Even though you do have the ability to do it. When you constantly display indecision, it makes people nervous who's counting on you to run with something. I'd rather people can make a choice and then be able to explain why they made their choice, even if it was the wrong choice. I can deal with their thinking and their thought process, and I can deal with how they did it. But it's hard to get somebody to move who don't have the desire to move. And over time, this kind of interpretation can stall career progression and affect job satisfaction, because if it stalls your career progression, you're going to be dissatisfied because you think you're not getting what you are justly due. They always looking over you. They always going to somebody else. Well, I ain't got a promotion. I've been in the same job for 10 years. I've been in the same spot. Ain't nobody asked me to lead nothing. Come on. So you're not satisfied at your job. And then you have people that are leading you that know there's more in you, but they can't get what's in you out of you. So it's causing dissatisfaction there and frustration there because they can't get you to commit and be confident in who you are and what you can bring to the table. And so it creates this stall of progression and this job satisfaction. Okay? And so what does that do? It bleeds into my third point. This workplace stress. And that workplace, it don't have to just be at your workplace. It can be a church. It can be in an environment. But it creates this stress in this place because the pressure to make swift decisions in a high-stakes environment, coupled with the indecisive nature, can lead to heightened stress levels, impacting productivity and work relationships. What am I saying? When you're in an environment where people need you to make decisions and need you to be decisive, but you have an indecisive nature, here's what can happen. Deadlines and accountability from people around you can start to feel like personal attacks. And it'll start to feel like insensitive pressure. Why y'all on me like that? Why y'all just leave me alone? Let me just give me my space. Just give me time to process this. Okay, how much time you need? I done gave you 3 months. You still ain't gave me an answer. I wanted to see this. I said 4 months ago, I wanted to see this by this date. And you have no updates. But then you feel like I'm attacking you. Come on. I want y'all to see how this stuff can bleed into your professional level and your productivity there with those around you when you have been hired or chosen, whether even if you're volunteering, you've been chosen, picked, hired, being paid to move the needle, make decisions, make choices, and go on. So accountability comes with that. But when you have an indecisive nature, it will feel like an attack when people are pressing you to choose. Ooh, I need y'all to hear me. The last one, I'm gonna let you go. I just want to deal with this because I want to give you some time to chew on this today. And I know we got started late today, and so I'm trying to condense this, but I still wanted you to get this word, this assignment today. The last level that you got to understand that will impact your life, your indecision will seep into, and here's the impacts of indecision if you let it. It will seep into your life in a relational level. Yeah, personal level, your professional level, and also your relational level. Your relational level. Our relationships, hear me, our relationships are also affected by our indecisions or our indecisiveness. Whether it's a friendship, a partnership, and I'm going to tell you, a whole lot, a spouse. Our inability to decide on things will create stress and strain on any relationship. Somebody got to say it. What do you mean? Let me tell you. And it's not limited to this. Hopefully, when I'm talking on these things, you guys, your mind is going and the spirit is dealing with you, and he's uncovering things as I'm unfolding this stuff out. He's ministering to you personally on things that you need to face and deal with, that you have kind of maybe ignored or you haven't really given this much attention to, or maybe you didn't even think it was much of an issue, as much as the issue as it is. And that's my prayer, that as I'm doing this and he's giving me certain things to kind of talk through, that he's having a whole separate conversation with you individually. Because we got to be more decisive people. We got to be ready to make a decision. We got to be confident in who we are and to simply choose, man. And this indecisiveness, man, it's going to hit in different areas. It's going to hit you personally. You're going to be carrying some stuff around because you just ain't got it off of you. It's going to hit you professionally. Now, let's deal with this level. It's going to hit you relationally. It's going to have a strain on the relationship. Some of the ways that indecision can affect the relationship is this. And this statement it's broad. So it's a lot of stuff that goes into lack of trust, but this is what I wrote down. Number one, lack of trust. Lack of trust can include disappointment, can include a layer of coldness, a layer of hardness. Oh, here's a word, and into my notes, but it came in my spirit. A layer of numbness. Where people has been disappointed and have been hurt and have been, and that has made them kind of angry, disappointed, frustrated. That frustrated is a good one, because people said they were going to do something and didn't do it, haven't started it. Said they were going to fix it, but ain't done nothing yet. Heard the issue, heard the problem, but there's nothing being done about it. Right? I need y'all to hear me, because I need you to remember. I need you to remember this. Indecision ultimately is the inability to take action, any action. So if I am in this chronic indecision and I'm in a relationship with somebody that I say I love, but then my actions show my inability to take action, then the love that I'm expressing will be strained and challenged, because the love that I'm expressing out of my mouth is not produced in my actions. And I don't want y'all to lose. I don't want to lose you now, but you got to hear me what I'm saying this. Listen to me. Listen, you got to understand that it's going to be a lack of trust there if you become this indecisive person in a relationship. Listen to me. So if things arise where action is needed for the health, the strength, or the success of a relationship, a partnership, a marriage, and nothing is being done, it will hinder the health of that relationship. When there are situations when you know what they need, you know what they're asking for, you've acknowledged that it's an issue and it's a problem, but you can't bring yourself to pull the trigger to do anything about it. Whether it's because you are overwhelmed with what it is you need to do, whether it's because you are fearful of doing it wrong, whether it's because you don't want to do it at all until you can do it perfect. And I want you to understand, like I said, somebody got to say it, and I'll be the one that can help you. While you're going through all those scenarios and thoughts and rehearsals and stress levels and practices in your head and the perfect thing to do, nothing's being done. And the other person is feeling ignored. Excuse me. The other person is feeling ignored when you're trying to figure out and decide to do something. So what happens is, see how that oozes into another one. Is my second point in this in a relational level. It's going to create lack of growth. Lack of growth in how you guys are building together, how you guys are connected, how you guys are in sync. How you guys form as a team. Again, friendship, relationship, partnership. Because what's happening is you are prolonging things that could better the situation. Wow. You are prolonging things that could better the situation. And I'm just gonna give you a couple examples. It can be, changing your mood. It can be changing your approach. It can be looking for employment. It can be deciding what it is you want to do. And I know that's hard to hear. But if you're in an indecision about what's next and you're at a crossroad and you stuck there and you're not communicating with that person or those persons involved, and you're not expressing and trying to work through your indecision, and you're keeping them out the loop, so they don't have communication, nor do they have any kind of displayed action. It feels like to them that it's not even a concern and there's nothing being done. And so you're getting frustrated because they're not understanding, and they're frustrated because they feel like they're ignored. Lord, I need y'all to hear me here. The relationship is being strained because of the indecision. Even if you don't have a decision about what you're going to do, you got to make a decision that you're going to be very vulnerable and open and transparent with that person that you love that is walking this thing out with you about where you are and where you're stuck at and what you're trying to process through, so that, oh, this is so good. Thank you, Holy Spirit. This is for somebody right here. So that even though there is no action for them to go on, they can be soothed by the action of you trying to work through your indecision. So if you can't give them an action of a choice yet, at least you can share with them the action of a process. That I recognize that I need to decide, that I recognize how this is straining our relationship, that I recognize that what's going on and what this is causing and what's happening. You'll be amazed at what that does for a person that is waiting on a decision from you. That you can share with them that I'm just not living and ignoring the fact that we need to do something. I know I need to. I know this is an issue. I know this is a problem. And you don't know that doing that can get their input and get their perspective that can help you get unstuck and to start to undergird you more and getting you out of the place you're in. But when you are quiet and silent and indecisive, there will be impacts on that relationship. I'm about there. One more and I'm going to let you go. Indecisiveness has impacts also, last one, on a spiritual level. Now, this is one y'all might not want to hear, but I got to put this in there too. Because don't just think y'all just indecisive with people, indecisive with things. That same indecisive nature is on display when God is calling you. Indecision will make it difficult for a person to grow and mature spiritually. You want to know why? Because our connection to God is predicated on our obedience. Thank you, Miss Lena. Thank you, Narissa. Thank you, Rufus. Thank you, Adama. I'm glad this is helping y'all. Thank you, Ebony. Thank you, Kevy. I see that. Thank you, Val. Indecision will make it difficult for a person to grow and mature spiritually because the only way we can connect to God is through obedience. And if it takes you long to start, it takes you a long time to obey. And spiritually, nothing shifts unless we move and act on the word. Faith without works is dead. David says, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. You'll never know the Lord is good if you won't taste of his goodness. How do you taste of his goodness? By practicing his word and experiencing his results. And I can't practice his word and experience his results if it takes me a while to decide to implement and try it. If we struggle with indecision, it will take us longer. I didn't say you couldn't get there, but it will take you longer to do anything he tells you to do. And some of us walking with God are really 3, 4, 5, 6 years behind of schedule, because you still now just starting to feel comfortable about assignment he told you to do in 2024, 2023. So there's assignments from 2023, 2024, and now 2025 that's on backlog because you still trying to process your yes. Thank you, Valina. What's going to be the impact of that? The vision for your life will be slow developing because you slow to move, because you slow to decide whether you're going to trust God or do it your way, whether you're going to come all the way in or still, I don't know, and this is scary, and you know, I got to do this, and if I got to get this handled, and I still got this going on, and God's over here waiting on a real choice. And so what happens is you're producing this life of slow developing spirituality, which then brings stalled results at a slow level, because everything is predicated on a decision, and you are slow to give one. And a lot of us, we are frustrated with the speed of our process. But you can't be frustrated with the speed of our process and the evidence of your fruit until you become real with the speed of your decisions. All right. This is the word for today. I'm going to stop. Thank you all. Tomorrow we're going to dig deeper into this. I want you to understand. Now, I'm not going to leave you hanging. We're going to move from this. We're going to give you some tools to get out of indecision when you're stuck in it. But I got to take my time to make sure you understand what indecision is and the weight of it. And so I think I got one more day in really dealing with some other things that the imprint of indecision is on, before I can get to a good place of giving you systems and tools of how to make a good decision. We're going to get there. And the whole goal is to first identify. And before we can identify indecision, I want you, once you identify, to understand the weight of what you have identified. This is no light thing, even though it's really not something that it is a personality trait. I think it's something that is in all of us. It's in all of us, but not all of us have the tools to deal with it when it shows up. And so sometimes it lingers longer. And what I want to do this month is give you the tools to deal with it when it show up, so that you won't get stuck in a lingering, chronic space of being indecisive. The world is bigger than one decision. I promise you, you won't blow your whole world up when you make one choice, even if it's the wrong choice. I promise you, you can recover. But the world will never shift for you if you don't move from where you are. Kevin, you can get them. You know you can get them. I'll send them to you. So this is your word today. Hopefully you grab something today of how this thing can impact your life. And sometimes you need it. Sometimes you got to put a name or a title or wrap it. You felt this, you've experienced these things, but you didn't really know what it was. Hopefully I can help you seal a leak in some productivity in your life. save a relationship, a friendship, because you have a cognizance and identity and heard it from a different lens that's able to get you to go back and rethink some things. Right? We have to think through decisions, but after we do it, there is a process and a boldness that says, okay, it's time to act. Right? If you're always in the planning stage, you'll never get anything accomplished. And so that's your word. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I can keep going. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll be on time tomorrow. And we want you to know we are respectful of your time. Thank you so much for sharing with me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and adapting today and being flexible. I felt that this was a message that I could not just cancel and not get out. I needed to say what I had to say for whoever was going to hear and get on today. So I'm glad you guys came back, and I'm glad you shared in this teaching, and hopefully it was a blessing to you. All right. Hey, if we've been a blessing, please consider being a blessing. You can send stars. That's a blessing. You can cash out. That's a blessing. B.A. Taylor 6. You can you know what we do. PayPal. Bradley Taylor there. You can find that. Whatever. Or you can just send me a nice note. Tell me this was a blessing. That is a monetary blessing to me anyway as well. All right. I love you guys. Listen, the fact that you're watching me, the fact that you're listening to me is a sign that God is not through with you yet. He gave you another day. Because he gave you another day, he gave you a new mercy to win this day. Don't let anything that comes to you today take what he gave you. He gave you the ability to win. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Let's maximize what he gave you for the day. Winners win. That's who you are. So go be who you are. Do what you do. Win your day. And we'll see you in the morning to fight for another one. Peace.